Broadcasting live from atop the Rocky Mountains, the crossroads of the West. You are listening to the Liberty Roundtable Radio Talk Show.
All right. Happy to have you along, my fellow Americans. Sam Bushman live on your radio. Hard-hitting news the networks refuse to use, no doubt, starts now. This, my fellow Americans, is the broadcast for February 26th in the year of our Lord 2025. The goal always to promote God, family, and country, to protect life, liberty, and property, and to do so on your radio using the checks and balances brilliantly put in place by our founding fathers, using the supreme law of the land, the Constitution of the United States of America as our guide, rejecting revolution. Unless it's a Jesus revolution, then we're in. Welcome to the broadcast. Lance Migliaccio, the big Mig brother with me. Welcome back to the broadcast, sir.
Good morning, Liberty Roundtable Live. Yeah, we're ready to go, man. I'm excited. Lots of stuff going on, Sam. It was hard picking out what to discuss today because the news feed just started to load up. So I'm excited to be here. You know, I love doing this show with you always.
It is out of control, the news cycle. I don't understand how, it ratchets. I've been in it for 30 years, and every time it just ratchets up more and more and more and more to where it's just such a target-rich environment, so much to cover, so little time to cover it. George's not with us today because he's taking care of some he's putting together some details for your new show, right?
Yeah, exactly. We've got that new show rolling out. The first episode's going to be on Friday. It's the Crypto Power Hour. George spent all that time building out the studio, and we've got all the animations done and all the intros, and we're ready to wind it up, just getting started out. But I'm excited. That's the show sponsored by Solum Global. If you don't know about this company, head over to solum.global. Check it out. You're going to be surprised. This is a company that's big, going to be, I think, really an important part of the blockchain, world.
The blockchain moneyverse, ladies and gentlemen.
Exactly. I like that. Did you just coin that term?
Yeah, I just did. Yes, sir. That's how I roll.
Exactly. You better go register it over at Urban Dictionary so everybody knows it's yours.
Anyway, it's interesting, though. It's going to be a video show, right?
Absolutely. It's going to be video, and hopefully we're going to be talking to you about doing some kind of a syndicated radio show also. That'll happen after we kind of get things landed, I hope.
Yeah,
but, it's going to be exciting. Lots of great guests. These guys have been in crypto since about 2013. Kirk St. John's, founder of Solum Global. A lot of people have coined the term about him, crypto's most interesting man, and he is joined by Antonia Moss. She's one of the other co-hosts, and her, I got to tell you, the social media calls her the Crypto Queen.
The Crypto Queen. And, people are going, wait a minute, Sam, hold on, man. You've been down in crypto for years. You're right, people, but let me give you a twist that you got to consider. When have you heard about crypto backed by constitutional currency? And that's the big difference making me interested. Trump was against it, too. Now Trump's for it. I'm interested when we talk about, digital currency, because you've got to have it in modern times, right? How do I send money to Lance in Denver? I mean, do I use Western Union? I mean, come on, right? So I understand that you got to deal in the modern world of digital assets and digital reality. The question is, how do you pair that with something that makes sense? And these people are really on the bleeding edge of this thing, right? I mean, that's the difference here that we're talking about, Lance.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, at the end of the day, these guys have really figured it out. So Solum Global is a gold-backed stablecoin. Along with, they've come out with this incredible piece of technology. It's AI. And what it does is it analyzes the healthcare industry. So for fraud detection, my understanding is you could add anywhere, and this is a crazy number. A lot of people are going to be like, come on, that's impossible. They're telling me that when this is fully implemented, and you could use it on Medicare or Medicaid, they can potentially add anywhere from 6 to 11% to EBITDA, which is really incredible. And being able to identify fraud, and they're saying that their fraud detection
system. Okay, you're going to have to slow down because people don't know what EBITDA means.
Yeah, well, that's your obviously your net earnings at the end of the year.
EBITDA is an acronym, just so people understand, that really takes into this formula that basically says at the end of the day, what do you got, right? I'm simplifying it, but that's really what it is, right?
Absolutely.
Okay,
but
go ahead. I don't mean to interrupt. I just want
fraud
people to
is
follow.
but fraud is so rampant in the healthcare industry to think that a company has come out. And of course, we know AI is going to be ridiculous, and we know that we're just seeing. I mean, this is in its conception stage. It isn't even really fully formed, at least as far as the civilians know. I'm sure there's some AI out there that we've talked about actually on this show that's really sophisticated, that's already in play, that we don't have any access to because it's government run, government funded. But the point is that they believe they can accurately identify fraud to like a 99 point some odd percentile.
And
so
I believe
can you
it's
imagine,
true.
Sam, if you could remove fraud from Medicare and Medicaid, just that alone, what that would mean?
Oh man, that means Doge on steroids.
There's no doubt. I mean, can you imagine if RFK Jr. implemented this into the system?
Oh yeah.
And they could, because we're talking about literally billions of dollars potentially in Medicare and Medicaid fraud yearly. Imagine if they could just remove that fraud. This thing is able to do that. So I think that's great. So the blockchain really needs Solem Global. And what they decided to do with this Crypto Power Hour show was to create a platform that would bring on the top guests, the top news cycles, and to educate people. Because I think the frightening part about crypto, at least from my perspective, is that so many people don't fully understand it. I mean, I'm entrenched in it, and every day something new is coming out. It's really difficult, Sam, to get your head wrapped around all of it.
Well, and I don't think most people are ever going to get their head wrapped around it. I'll give you a quick example to make the point. I'm an IT guy, but I'm an IT guy for literally 40 years. I'm not telling you I know more than everybody else in IT, but I've earned my stripes a little bit, and different from a lot of people in IT. A lot of people excel at a given task that they have in a corporate world. I've been on IT kind of from the ground floor. I mean, back when the internet was all command line based, I was involved in writing applications to manually plumb servers for information and this kind of stuff. And, I started out in the earlier days of computing before there was a GUI for everything and a graphical interface for everything. And anyway, I don't know everything about it, but the reason I tell you this story like that is to say, now computers are the point where people don't know and don't care how it all works. And eventually crypto's going to get like that too, Lance.
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, right now it's really complicated. You have to have so many different wallets for so many different, purchases. Doesn't matter whether you're on the far end of the spectrum, which I'm not a big fan of, or the meme coin world, which we know about the celebrity coins and the rug pulls and the rest, and then all the way up what I consider blue chip. The Ethereums, the Bitcoins, the XRPs, XLM, XDC. Those are the coins that are at the top of the food chain. But the point is, just to buy those coins, you have to have half a dozen different wallets depending on what platform or what chain they're actually on. So it gets kind of tricky for the average American. I'm sure it's going to get very commonplace. Listen, the digital dollar's coming. And you have to know that
it's going to get commonplace, but the details aren't going to matter, though. It's going to be like your computer. You're going to be able to just click, and it's going to be a very simple delivery at some point. It's not there yet, but it's getting there fast.
Yeah, and I'm excited for it. I think in a lot of ways. I think if it stays independent, of course, you're always worried about government control. Hopefully, Trump's position and the fact that he's so pro crypto, he's going to continue to allow crypto to operate the way it has been operating. And then of course, with this double down strategic reserve of cryptos, really bring it into the mainstream where people are really committed to going long term with it. So what I love about what these guys have done is they wanted to create a very high quality show. You can find it on Rumble and many other platforms, but Rumble and X are going to be its home bases, Rumble being its primary home base. And they're going to really go all in. They built a beautiful studio, and they're actually talking about even building a bigger facility, hopefully bringing radio into that and the rest of it. And that's something that hopefully, Sam, you'll be part of. And that's really the plan, is for you to be a big part of the radio side of it. And my point is, this is an opportunity because they're not going to talk over people's heads. What they've decided is they want to produce a product that really can explain the details of crypto. So if they bring a guest on, they'll explain what the importance it is into the real world, the application of what does that mean for me at home? What does that mean for me in my business? How do I accept crypto as payment? Because it's becoming more common that businesses want to be able to accept it. But these guys have really figured it all out. They've got the stable coin. They've got this insurance product, which I wouldn't call it an insurance product, really a healthcare product. And then they've got so much more. They're really implementing
there's weird things around when you say the word insurance. All kinds of weird laws trigger and all kinds of weird fiduciary responsibilities happen and everything else. And so we're not backing away from the term, but just look at these health share plans, not health care, but health share plans.
Yeah.
They have to use different words, right? They don't have deductibles. They have shareable amounts. And so it's a complicated world we're talking about. And the whole goal is to put that complicated world on the kitchen table where the average Joe, we do that with Tech Watch Radio every weekend in technology. And it's going to be done in the currency world too with crypto.
Yeah, and I think that's what's important. To educate people, we have to make it mainstream. So you did it with technology. This is actually the solution for that in the crypto world. These guys are really going to bring it. They're going to start off with 2 shows a week, and then they're going to move to probably 3 or 4 or 5 shows a week as they grow. So I like the long-term plan. They're really committed. They've put the money behind it. They put their money where their mouth is. And I think these guys, I think they have a bright future. So if you haven't ever checked them out, solem.global. The name of the show is the Crypto Power Hour. You can find it on Rumble. They have their own account there. So you can just type in Crypto Power. It'll come up. And they also have social media on X, Crypto Power Hour. And, of course, Solem Global on X.
And our own Lance Migliaccio, right in the center of it all to break it down just for you. I'm interested because it's backed by constitutional currency. Hang tight, more in seconds on your radio.
As you are aware, America is divided over every fault line possible. This is intentionally fostered by those who do not love God, family, or country. We believe a peaceful future as a free people absolutely depends on civility. Clarion Call for Civility is looking for funding and volunteers at every level to make our hopes and efforts a reality. Please donate, sign our pledge, and help us in our sacred cause. Please visit callforcivility.com for more details. Callforcivility.com.
Bypass the mainstream narrative with Liberty News Radio at libertynewsradio.com. Engage with charismatic hosts live or on demand. We cover the crucial news focused on God, family, and country. News that other networks simply refuse to use. Think of L&R's hard-hitting news and podcasts at your fingertips, anytime, anywhere. Join us at libertynewsradio.com. Empower your day with the truth, because the truth will set you free. libertynewsradio.com.
Introducing Managed IT Services from NPI. We offer top-notch data backup and recovery, email spam protection, and network security tailored to your needs and budget. With 20-plus years of experience in the medical field, our HIPAA-certified consultants know what it takes to protect sensitive information. Don't settle for less. Give us a call at 801-706-6980 and experience the difference with Managed IT Services. Remember, your IT support should be fast, efficient, and reliable.
Introducing PrepStartsNow.com, your ultimate guide to readiness and peace of mind. We offer practical preparedness tools, training, and education to take your family's household readiness to the next level. Browse the prep shop for essential products, check out our planning guides, and stay informed with our prep blog. Visit PrepStartsNow.com and subscribe to our emails for exclusive offers, new products, and future events. Remember, preparedness begins with PrepStartsNow.com.
Back with you live, ladies and gentlemen. Lance Migliaccio, the Big Mig, everywhere. Rumble, check it out, the Big Mig, thebigmig.com. On weekends on Liberty News Radio as well, the Big Mig Show. Great stuff, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about crypto. I usually say don't dip your toe in the crypto, but you know what? There's companies now backing their crypto with constitutional currency. Interesting, to say the least. And you know what? There's so many crypto companies out there now. It's so confusing. So many wallets, so many middlemen, so many whatever. That's eventually going to consolidate and change, folks. That's not going to be true forever. Okay, there's going to be winners and losers in this market like there is everything else. And to some degree, it might even be kind of a form of the dot-com bust in 2000, where a lot of people fail, but there will be people who have sound principles. They will succeed. Crypto's not going anywhere anytime soon. There will be a massive fallout, I can promise you that. And these latest headlines illustrate the point just perfectly, Lance. First one, crypto firm pleads guilty to operating illegally in the United States. Federal prosecutors said OKX. Is that how you pronounce this one?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's OKX. I think it's their actual call sign.
Yeah, OKX. And I guess it's based in Seychelles. Where's the heck's that?
Yes, Seychelles. It's an offshore. It's an offshore property. So it's you know that this is how they operate, these offshore companies. You know, they're always looking for either the Gulf of America for some of their operations down there, or you know, you've got Gibraltar, and of course Seychelles is well known for that.
Yeah, understood. Anyway, I just want people to understand. It's just basically an offshore place. It's I don't want to call it like a Jeffrey Epstein Island, but I'm just saying.
Oh, no.
Money laundering laws are being violated. All I'm saying is it's very interesting. Most people don't know about it, though. Unless you're into this stuff, you don't know anything about it, right? That's the point that I'm making.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of these companies decided to operate offshore, Sam, as a safety net because, of course, they weren't sure how the SEC was going to be. Of course, Gary Gensler's out of there now, but, he was anti-crypto, and he was trying to use Wall Street, statutes to monitor and control crypto.
Now, they say these people violated anti-money laundering for years. The company agreed to pay more than $500 million, $500 million in fines and penalties. Now, the interesting thing about this, though, is this offshore cryptocurrency trading firm pled guilty, but I want to be very clear. It was just about licensing, right? That's what's interesting about this, Lance.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I think the government here, the DOJ, and of course the SEC, have tried to use a lot of ways to get to these companies. I think they see a big pool of money, capital, and I don't know necessarily these laws are being applied correctly. But in this case, one of the big problems in the crypto world, and Tether may be one of them, is transparency, Sam. There isn't a lot of transparency. A lot of times for staking, they'll tell you you're going to get 4% or 20%, and there isn't any transparency on staking. That's interesting. Just to go back to Solem Global just for a second, transparency is what that company's about. They're actually going to have all their staking returns, what the money's being used for, all posted where you can actually see it online. These other companies don't do that. So this has really got to do with transparency, I believe, is how this case started. And they felt like money was coming in from the dark web and dark, operations around the globe. And that's where it really kind of kicked in.
And just to be clear, they're not really saying there was wrongdoing. They're saying they didn't really commit fraud. It was just about having the right license, right?
Well, the authorities on this one said that they had generated millions of dollars in trading fees for the exchange from 2018 to 2024. And they say it's a time when it was operating in violation of federal law.
Right.
Now, because U.S. customers participated, although I'm still kind of, wondering and concerned.
I'm up in the air on this, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, Seychelles, it's an offshore entity. I'm not sure how they justified this fine, but I do know this. Many companies are trying to get these SEC cases down the road, and they're willing to take the hit just to make them go away because they're hoping that moving forward, this administration isn't going to be bringing these kind of cases. And they also believe that it's going to increase the overall participation and value once they're out of the way. Another one of these is pending is XRP. They've still got that nasty SEC case hanging over their heads.
But if you're in Seychelles or whatever, and just because Americans were involved in it, and when we talk about trading fees, let's discuss that for a second. Because if it's money, and that's what the debate is, that's why I kind of joked about, hey, these are the money people. If it's money, are there trading fees? Or are the trading fees related to dollars versus crypto? It gets very murky fast, Lance.
I agree with you, and even though I know they were offered a 20 for I guess making some overt actions to kind of minimize this kind of exposure, they were offered a 25% reduction in the agreed upon fine. But I don't know, this bothers me. The reason
they were offered that reduction is because they were trying to cooperate, and that's what I mean by this thing is so murky in this Seychelles thing. Look, Seychelles is not a Jeffrey Epstein Island, not even close. Although the average American might think that it's some scandalous thing. It's not. Okay? People go offshore for international reasons all the time. This is nothing new. This is nothing scandalous. And then when they cooperate and get a 25% reduction, you've got weird laws here at play that people, I don't even know if they know how to navigate. Because if it's money, what are we exchanging? I mean, if I exchange a franc or a dollar for this, what's the difference, right? So I'm just saying it gets murky very, very quickly. And it's sad to me that this company got caught in this because when you pay more than $500 million in fines, who's going to get that money, right? Where's that going to go?
Well, And, hopefully it doesn't go to USAID and then get funneled down to
exactly
left-leaning media.
Left-leaning media.
Maybe it'll come to the right media. Maybe we'll get it this time.
Who's more scandalous, though, this crypto company or USAID? I think USAID is way more scandalous.
Because they operated criminally, right? They lied to the American people. They violated their charter. But this is crazy because you think about this. Seychelles is in the Indian Ocean. It's a string of islands, an archipelago in Indian Ocean.
Yes, and there's nothing wrong with them, by the way. I joked about that to make a point. That, guys, it's not like that.
But the point is, how do they have subject matter jurisdiction of that island? And this is what's happening, in my opinion. The internet itself is global, right? You can get access to almost any company, any country in the world. But now here we are saying, well, because
normal or deep web style, right?
Yeah, of course. Of course. And it's frightening to me that the U.S. government, says, oh, well, you made fees on Americans and you didn't do this and you didn't do that correctly and now you owe us money. I don't know if I'm buying that. It's kind of like online gambling.
I'm not buying that.
The online gambling world, to me, somebody wants to gamble, they gamble. I'm not a gambler, not at least in that case. Maybe with my life I'm a gambler, but not in fact that I go to a casino and throw my money down so they can build more beautiful casinos with my dough. The point is this. How do we really decide what we should have jurisdiction of and what we shouldn't have jurisdiction of? Sam, where's the line in the sand?
Well, in my mind, the supreme law of the land, the Constitution, provides a lot of those lines in the sand. So when things happen internationally, it doesn't matter if a United States citizen by free will and by choice is able to be involved in some of these international deals. My question becomes, hey, how are they going to pay for this? Are they going to pay for it in their crypto, or are they going to pay for it in U.S. dollars, or what? Maybe they'll pay for it in oil, Lance.
Yeah, well, we could use some of that oil as long as
Black
it's not
gold,
coming from
right?
some of the country. Yeah, well, hopefully we're going to have energy independence again under this new administration.
Hey, man, I'm joking, but I'm trying to make a valuable point here.
No,
why I'm drilling
it's a great
into
point.
This.
No, I think you're right. I mean, I've always thought that our government was operating, beyond the scope. It was operating, unconstitutionally and non-constitutionally. And when it comes to jurisdiction, that's always been a murky line in the sand, because when they use subject matter jurisdiction in the court system, that in itself creates an environment where all of a sudden everything in commerce is in their control. And that's not what the Constitution says. The Constitution clearly defines 17 specific subject matters that our government is, responsible for, and everything else is supposed to be left to the states. I don't remember that Seychelles was in the Constitution at last time I checked.
It's not, and that's my point. And so when you say they violated anti-money laundering laws, what does that even mean? Like, how do they launder money?
Yeah.
Let me get this straight. Just hold on for a second. If this is OKX, and I trade OKX for dollars, or OKX for the pound, or whatever, will the real money please stand up, Lance, so I can know which one is the real money? Because if we're going to say there's trading fees, then the others aren't money, right? Or what about when I switch my money to the peso? Are people getting rich on that scandal too?
Yeah, and this is such a valid and really important point you're making, because again, this is what has always bothered me. Our government has become, overreaching in, I believe, the legality of what they have determined. So anybody that wants to do, business with the U.S. government is somehow obligated to 100% of every statute. And when I think of an offshore entity, I think of another country. Why should they be responsible to the statutes? Because if we're an American and we're in a different country, you don't get the same operational need, right? The requirement doesn't appear like it does when it comes to the U.S. government. So I think, there is some good news. Look, Coinbase got their SEC case dismissed the other day, so that's a big deal. Hopefully XRP is going to settle, and hopefully we're going to see less and less of this, prosecution of foreign entities by our own government.
All I know is I'm just going to start trading all my Mexican pesos for the OKX. That's what I'm going to do, and then I wonder if the United States will be involved.
I might have to call you Senor Bushman.
Does it matter where I physically am when this all goes down? Do I got to cross the border and then make my trade and then run back real quick? I joke, I jest, but I'm making a point, ladies and gentlemen. This is out of control, and we got to get a handle on it. And right now, we just think the government's God in this thing. That alone has got to stop. And if we want to know about the fraud, Hey, tell the government to use constitutional currency because I say the dollar's nothing but a fraud. The dollar, ladies and gentlemen, the U.S. dollar is flat out money laundering. Fake money. Got it? Good.
And the Fed.
Pursuing liberty, using the Constitution as our guide. You're listening to Liberty News Radio.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. The National Religious Broadcasters Annual Conference continues today in Dallas, Texas. Among the 5,000 attendees is Nir Solomon, spokesman for Israel's leading pro-life group, Afrot. Despite the ready availability of abortions in the Jewish state, Solomon says the pro-life movement is nevertheless winning hearts and minds in his country.
I can tell you that in Israel, in reality, abortions are down. So I'm happy that we are actually looking, we can politicize and say, oh, we don't want the reversal of Roe v. Wade happening in Israel. Women have a right to terminate their pregnancies in Israel. But we are actually curving that phenomena tremendously in Israel. So Israel is very pro-life, but it's not anti-choice. So long as we don't politicize this issue too much, then we're ahead of the game.
The 2025 National Religious Broadcasters Conference continues through the end of this week in Dallas. The Trump agenda takes another step forward. House Republicans have passed a massive budget bill. It includes $4.5 trillion in tax relief and a couple of trillion in spending cuts. Not a done deal yet, though. Has to go through the committee process and be reconciled with what the Senate has in mind. The United States and Ukraine have come to terms on an economic deal. It would allow the U.S. to mine Ukraine's vast store of rare earth minerals. President Trump says it would also allow American taxpayers to recover all of the money they've shipped to Ukraine.
Biden was throwing money around like it's cotton candy, and it's a very big deal. It could be $1 trillion deal. It could be whatever.
Ukrainian President Zelensky says that while the framework of the economic deal is ready, security guarantees that Kiev views as crucial have yet to be decided, and those guarantees will be the subject of talks in Washington on Friday. On Wall Street, stocks in positive territory with the Dow up 110 points, the Nasdaq trading 171 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hey everybody, Charlie Kirk here. My schedule is about as crazy as it gets. 2 years ago, I made the decision to take control of my health. I chose my PhD weight loss and nutrition because I needed a plan that fit my hectic lifestyle. I quickly lost over 40 pounds, and it was simple. They customized a plan for my body and my schedule. Now I have the energy and focus to get through my busy day. PhD will help you too, and they won't let you fail. Just give them a call, schedule your weight loss consultation to see if the program is right for you. Call 864-502-1777. That is 864-502-1777. The first 11 callers who mention healthy will get 2 free weeks added to their weight loss package. Call 864-502-1777 and mention the word healthy, or visit them at myphdweightloss.com. That is myphdweightloss.com. myphdweightloss.
Former Sheriff Richard Mack recounts in his book The Proper Role of Law Enforcement, how he came to realize while working as a beat cop how wrong the all-too-common orientation of police officers is when they think of their job as being to write tickets and arrest people. Richard Mack tells of his personal transformation from by-the-number cop to Constitution-conscious defender of citizen safety and freedoms. Learn what it really means to serve and protect. Purchase your copy at cspoa.org. That's cspoa.org.
Do you know what is great about America? Ask an Immigrant. Ask an Immigrant is a new podcast dedicated to helping Americans, especially our youth, value, appreciate, and be grateful for the freedoms we have here in America. Join host Lydia Wallace-Nuttall as she interviews immigrants from around the world to discover their inspiring personal stories about why they came to America. To learn more about why America is the most prosperous, greatest country in the world, download the Loving Liberty app or go to lovingliberty.net.
Mr. President, Senator from Kentucky. Reserving the right to object. I lived for 4 months in Asheville, worked at the VA hospital, still have fond feelings for Western North Carolina. But the thing is the reason why we won't do this in a responsible way is because the Senate voted to send all your money to Ukraine. I mean, they voted to send $200 billion to Ukraine. I've been all over the mountains of Appalachia when I ask people, would you rather that your senators take care of you here in Asheville or here in Pikeville, here in Appalachia, or would you rather them send your money to Ukraine? I don't get anybody wanting to send a penny to Ukraine. Look, you can have all kinds of sympathy in the world for Ukraine, hostility towards Russia being the aggressor nation, but we don't have the money. We're $2 trillion in the hole. Interest this year is going to be $1 trillion. And as far as passing this, I'm willing to let it pass today. He's going to object to passing his own bill today simply because it gets paid for. I'm willing to let the bill pass, but take some of the fluff and boondoggle subsidies from the Green New Deal and put it into here. The money's sitting here. We put it into here for disasters. We help Asheville today.
Broadcasting live from atop the Rocky Mountains, the crossroads of the West. You are listening to the Liberty Roundtable Radio Talk Show.
Welcome back to Liberty Roundtable Live with your host, Sam Superman Bushman. Of course, myself along for the ride today, Lance Migliaccio from the Big Mig Show. You know, it's funny when you go through the news sources and you start thinking, have you guys ever been cleaning, doing maybe a little spring cleaning and thrown out something accidentally? Did you ever throw out something accidentally that's worth $800 million? The point is, that's exactly what happened to James Howell. If you guys haven't heard this story, he was doing a little clean out and threw away a hard drive that had a considerable amount of Bitcoin, now worth to the tune of $800 million, fast approaching $1 billion. And you might say to yourself, well, wait, can't he just go get it? Well, his mistake is sitting in a landfill. And I love this quote of the day, Sam. This needle is very, very valuable, which, of course, means he's willing to search every piece of hay in order to find the needle. You know, I'm not laughing at this, guys. I'm not laughing at what happened.
No, we're laughing because the way they deliver the story is funny, right?
No doubt. I mean,
it's a horrible thing.
It is a horrible event for him. And I'm sure as every day that Bitcoin goes up, I think today, right now it's at about 88,000. It's had a pullback from, I think its high of 109. Part of that pullback is based on a different story we're going to cover about a hack. But Sam, what do you do here? Now he's already offered to pay to do the search himself. He's offered a percentage of the findings to the city. And now he's petitioning to actually buy the landfill, or I've also heard he's going to buy them a separate piece of property to give them for a new landfill, and they're still not caving to him. And I can't figure out why.
You want my guess?
Please.
They've already found the hard drive, hacked into it, and they're taking the 800 mil plus keeping the landfill.
Yeah, I would think that some of those guys that are dumping off trash in that landfill, they might have been doing a little excavation on their own. It wouldn't surprise me.
That's the only thing I can think of now. This is in Wales, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is Newport, but I mean, this is a lot of money here, buddy.
Oh, it's insane. I can't even comprehend it. How much is the most you've ever lost in your life, Lance?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I've got to think. I mean, I've been in some business deals where I lost money.
Yeah, but still, even those, how much money?
Anything even.
I've lost $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 before in deals.
I think I lost in a couple of. There's some deals I lost. Maybe I ended up in a deal with some bad partners. I lost about. I had to litigate, and I won the litigation because I was in the right. But I lost about $1.2 million in legal fees.
All right, yeah. I've lost 10, 20, 30, 40,000 depending on the details. Like some of it's real estate, and so, how much of it's captured loss versus whatever.
Sure.
But I'm just telling $800 million, I can't even comprehend the thing.
How do you sleep at night, Sam? You're sitting there thinking about that drive, and you're thinking about the day you threw it out. I mean, this guy's got to have, what is this? I don't know if it's PTSD or if it's crypto TSD. I'm not sure.
This needle is very, very valuable.
Yes.
I don't mean to laugh. It's not funny. The delivery and the way the story's delivered is kind of funny. And to me, when I look at this thing, I just don't understand why they won't cooperate and help the guy. I mean, why not? What have they got to lose is what I don't really understand.
But it's really tough, right? At the end of the day, these seed phrases that go with securing your wallets. Number one, I don't know how safe they're going to be in the future with quantum computing. But the point is, I heard a story again the other day where somebody had a cell phone that got damaged, and they had all their seed phrases saved in some kind of a folder on their cell phone. And they lost the seed phrases to millions of dollars in crypto. these seed phrases, I mean, they're worth their weight in gold if you're going to invest in crypto. And you can't. It isn't just about getting your password back. It's not like you do on Apple and you say, "Oh, I made a mistake. I got rid of my password. Help me get back into my phone." It doesn't work like that. You lose your seed phrases. That's it. Finito. End of story. You will never get to your crypto ever again, and either will anybody else.
Well, and that's part of the problem, and at some point that's going to need to be dealt with in a meaningful way, because, what happens when governments start losing their phrases and stuff like that? If the world starts going all digital, at some point there will be a rectifying of this in a more, I understand the bit chain, I understand why you can't get it back, I got all that. But at some point they're going to have to remedy that, because you just can't have governments going, hey, Gavin Newsom lost the keys to the kingdom.
And he's moving to Monaco.
He's moving to Seychelles.
Yeah, exactly. But I have to ask you this. That brings me to a question, because you're the expert in this area. I know your background in technology. You're very modest about it, and I know you really are an expert. What's going to happen with these seed phrases, Sam, and quantum computing? We're talking about being able
they're
to
going to be
process,
hacked. That's what I'm saying. Something's going to have to be done on both sides of that coin, pardon the pun. You're going to have to deal with a different way to approach this, because all those things will be hacked in seconds, number one. On the other side of the coin, people are going to have a way that they can recover these things, too, in some way, and it's going to put a security on its head 100%.
There's no doubt. And here's my thing. You're talking about hacks. We just saw the biggest crypto hack in history go down. The North Koreans just stole a record $1.5 billion and change in a single crypto hack. Now that's the Bybit hack. For anybody that hasn't been living under a rock, hopefully you've seen this in the news and you caught this. But they say this is the second largest cryptocurrency exchange. They got 40 million users on Bybit, and we're talking about a crazy amount of money that got stolen here. Sam, what do you think about this?
It's a single heist too.
Yeah, single heist, and let's face it. For the audience, the hacking technology and teams in North Korea. This is how they fund their government operations. They are really sophisticated, and I wouldn't doubt that they're going to take this money and put it into even more sophisticated quantum computing, which is going to, really impact even more of what's going on. Now, I know this is how North Korea's funded their missile programs, from these digital heists. It's very clear. It's been really obvious, and we've heard from this firm that of course the CEO is already saying he's going to be able to cover this $1.5 billion. It's not an issue, but I don't know. This is frightening. And now North Korea has an extra $1.5 billion to maybe, improve their hacking system, not only invest in their government and their missile program, which really don't want North Korea to invest in their missile program any more than they already have. Where does this lead us, Sam? I'm not sure. This is frightening.
Well, and that's why I say that we're going to have calm minds sit at the table. We're going to have to realize that the games are changing. But it's nothing different. It's bigger stakes, I'll grant you. But it's nothing different than the cat and mouse game that's been going on forever when it comes to, say, virus and virus protection, or malware and the prevention thereof, or protecting your assets versus getting them, breached or whatever else and stuff. And so, $1.5 billion in a single heist, I believe they will dump all their money into the next hack, because $1.5 billion to you and me is a lot of money, but in the real scheme of things, in what the world will look like in the future, it's nothing, right?
Yeah, no doubt. Well, right now you look at it, the crypto world, only about less than 5% of the planet is participating in crypto. That's a very small amount.
And think how many dollars are there right now? How much is the whole crypto world worth right now? Do we have
I want to say, I think I saw something the other day in total value. It was a couple of trillion, I think, already.
Right. So you think about a couple of trillion and you go, 1.5 billion is not much money.
Yeah, right now, I just had to search it because I wanted to make sure. I remember seeing something at about 2.8 trillion, but they're saying right now it's up, especially in the last 24 hours. It's almost up 0.72%. It's at 3.03 trillion.
Which is
that's
just,
the total global cryptocurrency market.
Right?
Yeah, it's a big number. Well, not a big number to USAID. They could probably spend that in a couple hours.
Well, and that's the other question, too, about this. How much that's blue sky versus real money?
Yeah. You never really know, but the technology is getting much more sophisticated. The participation is getting much more sophisticated. I look at the solutions that are coming out. They've got gaming solutions, and now we have healthcare solutions, and we have stable coins secured by hard assets like gold. We have DeFi networks that are exploding, that are brand new and are just turning into a whole new vertical. So it's moving so rapidly. To be honest with you, Sam, I have a difficult time keeping up with it.
Well, and you won't be able to keep up with it, and that's my whole point. Is that the rounds and rounds. Let me just give you a quick story that illustrate. Back when I started in computing in the 80s and stuff, the average IT guy could take care of virtually 100% of businesses' IT needs. I was one of the consultants, and I know, you could take care of everything. Once in a while, you might have to check with somebody on something, but hey, you could program their routers, you could take care of all their different stuff, their credit card machines, you could back up their data, you could, all these things. And as the IT market's gone forward over the last, 40 years or whatever, an IT guy now can't do half of it, even if he's smart as heck and he's been around for a long time. There's just too many areas that IT touches. Unless you do something every day, you don't know. So just take a corporate router. Unless I work on that corporate router every day and know its nuances and its operating system and all the details about it, I can't work on that router. I got to get somebody who works on those routers every day. I can understand the project and I can manage the project, but I don't deal with that every single day, right? Anyway, the whole reason I tell you this is crypto's going to get that way. You're going to start to see, well, we'll talk about it. Hang tight.
In the medical field, IT security is crucial. Our highly skilled consultants are HIPAA certified and have 20-plus years of experience servicing medical clinics, billing, and supply companies. We offer comprehensive endpoint protection, guarding your computers and servers against all stages of threats. And with our 24/7 monitoring services, you'll never worry about extensive downtime again. Ready to level up your IT support? Call 801-706-6980 today and discover how great IT services can be with managed IT services.
Experience the untamed spirit of the American West with Range Magazine. Each issue is a visual journey featuring award-winning photography and compelling stories that capture the heart of ranching and rural life. Stay informed on the challenges and triumphs of those who live and work on the land. Subscribe today and receive quarterly editions delivered to your doorstep, and join a community that cherishes the enduring legacy of the Western frontier. Visit rangemagazine.com to subscribe.
This is a battle between truth and deceit, a battle between forces that would enslave this country in darkness, and between a media that wants to present you with the truth. We are being censored. America's news outlets no longer provide the truth. 90% of news outlets in the United States are controlled by 6 corporations. The mission of the Epoch Times is to chase the truth, to ground all statements in fact.
TheEpochTimes.com. Looking for an IT partner that truly understands your needs? Managed IT Services is the answer. We meet with you regularly to discuss your goals and form a tailored technology plan. Our customers have called us a trusted advisor who delivers. When it comes to IT, we do it all. Firewalls, cloud storage, server migration, and more. Say goodbye to long-term contracts and hello to a team that earns your business month after month. Call 801-706-6980 now and let Managed IT Services transform your IT experience.
All right, back with you live, ladies and gentlemen. Sam Bushman, Lance Migliaccio. So I was saying right before the break, you could have a single guy just handle technology for companies. Back in the day, now it's just so detailed, so much technology, so many nuances, so much, it's complex. And an IT guy, even if they're great, you take this router guy that I mentioned that's working on a corporate router. He might do that every day, but man, when it comes to, say, social media or, radio or video or something else, he doesn't have a clue. He does routers all day. And so the market has become very vertical oriented. You've got to do something every day to be good at it. Working on websites. The guy that works on your router, man, if you had to build a website tomorrow, he'd struggle. But the guy that does websites every day has got that, right? Well, the same thing is going to be true in crypto, Lance. Over time, it's going to be more nuanced, more specialized, more unique. Will it be crypto that's for healthcare, the crypto that's for government versus the private sector? And all those have all kinds of laws and nuances and regulations and details. And just think HIPAA to make a simple point. Hey, can you do crypto? How is that going to deal with a HIPAA side of the discussion. I know that's a simple example, but it makes the point. We've got HIPAA certified IT guys now that understand, hey, you got to do this and that and to keep the privacy in place. Crypto is going to follow that same trend in 10 years. Crypto on the surface will be really easy to deal with, but crypto behind the scenes will be very complex indeed, sir.
Yeah, I think you bring such a valid point with that. At the end of the day, I think just the security piece of it, with as sophisticated as these computer systems are getting, you start talking about Project Colossus and the power of what Elon Musk has with that, and then you talk about what the government's doing, with the Stargate operation. I think it's really going to be one of those things that, the security end of this alone, Sam, I can't even wrap my head around it.
Well, what you got to wrap your head around is this. Crypto's here to stay. The other thing you got to wrap your head around is crypto's going to get easier for the average Joe to use. You're going to see a big, massive fallout like a .com boom bust cycle where a lot of people are going to, run to hey, this is the next best thing since sliced bread. And then eventually there's going to be a lot of fallout, and there's going to be streamlining and taking over and merging. And we see that in all kinds of things, right? So this is nothing new. You can just see the pattern right away. And I'm just telling you, when the North Koreans are at the top of their game, I mean, they hack this and nobody can stop them and nobody can prevent it at this point, right?
Yeah, I mean, and like I said a minute ago, now they're not that they weren't well funded before, because they've been, probing and hacking governments and private companies all over the globe, but now they're even more well funded. What kind of computing power are they going to get their hands on? Because let's face it, we know there's a dark market for NVIDIA chips. We know that's going on. We saw it. We've seen the purchases. We've even heard that even though China wasn't supposed to be able to get their hands on them, they supposedly just did their new system and got their hands on a bunch of them. So, point is, what's North Korea going to do next, and how dangerous are they going to become?
Well, and the real question is, where do they get their start, though? You hear North Korea is this poor nation, and you got a few leaders that are suppressing all the people and all this kind of stuff. And to some degree, that's true. But to some degree, hey, where do they get the wherewithal in the first place? Where do they get the knowledge, the intelligence, the funding, the backing, the computing power, the chips, how did all that happen? And the answer is they've got some dark partners, and they happen to be our most favored nation trading partners, Lance.
Yeah. You are absolutely right about that. I think we're just going to have to watch this unfold. And, people are going to take extra steps. I'm hoping that cold storage wallets, which are offline wallets, people will get more used to using those so that their assets aren't sitting online and more vulnerable. Now,
but don't let them be
cold storage wallets really going to do the trick. I'm sorry.
Right,
ahead,
Lance? Don't let them be cold storage in landfills, though. Don't do that.
Yeah, boy, no kidding. Man, oh, man. 800 million out there. Makes you want to go into the landfill business, doesn't it?
Well, it makes you really think about it, too, and I think people need to be educated about. And there's a few reasons I've told people not to dip their toe in the crypto in the past. One of them is this issue that it's fake, and but now that they're backing it with digital currency or constitutional currency, gold and silver and stuff like that, there's a lot of benefit. The other reason is because most people get in over their head and they don't realize the nuance. This guy lost his hard drive. That's a simple mistake. But what about losing your phrases or losing your hard drive or this and that and the other? I mean, you've got to be so careful, right? It's a complicated quagmire. And in an instant, you can make a mistake and it's like, right?
Yeah, and it used to be before, of course, keeping track of your email passwords was tough enough. Now you've got to worry about a large, high net worth individual with lots of crypto. What are the backup plans? And of course, the more you keep backup plans, the more strategically vulnerable you are. If you write it down, if you put it in your phone, if you put it on your computer, it becomes potentially accessible to anybody out there that decides to hack into it. And the phishing campaigns online, when it comes to these email phishing campaigns, I know my mom is constantly asking me, do I need to answer this? I'm like, no, do not answer that. Do not click on it. And at the end of the day, it's tough.
Yeah, it is. And so I didn't want people. Now, if you have plenty of money and you want to dabble in crypto, that's fine. If you really know what you're doing and you're really an IT professional and you say, Sam, I can take care of that, fine. But understand it's very nuanced and people can make mistakes so easy. And that's one of the big things. If crypto's gonna become, instead of less than 5% or 3% of the population, using it and playing with it, there's really 1% that's using it all the time. There's a broader group, 2, 3, 4, 5% that have dabbled in it, right? But you're going to have to decrease the mistake potential, or the accidental loss potential, and or the theft potential before it can become too mainstream. That's some of the biggest things they need to work on, right?
Oh, for sure. I think it's going to have to be at the forefront of their mind as they start to get involved, and they're going to have to get involved. I don't think they're going to have a choice. I think everybody.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. These crypto companies and these middlemen and everything else, they're going to have to find ways to protect people, and then that creates vulnerabilities. But I look at it kind of like a Linux operating system. Most people can't even run Linux because it's too complicated to install and run. Now, they've added GUIs to it and made it a little easier, but it's still the wild, wild west kind of a thing. It's like, hey, well, first off, if I'm going to use Linux, which flavor do I even use? Well, it's like crypto. It's like, hey, what crypto do I even want to get involved in? Certainly not the one that just, went to Seychelles and got busted, right? Probably not that one.
No.
So I'm just saying it's that kind of stuff right now, right?
Although, who knows? Maybe the suppression of what happened with that. That's the interesting part about crypto. These companies come back. This isn't the first company that's had to pay a fine, and it surely isn't going to be the last. But they all seem to come
and maybe
back
after paying the fine, they're going to be a lot more stable and more careful than other companies, too, to maybe be protected then, right?
Yep, and I think that's a valid point. I don't
kind of like going to McDonald's.
Off.
It's like going to McDonald's after they've had some of these things. Hey, they're going to be QC and all their stuff pretty good. It's probably safer to eat there than most places for a while.
Yeah, for a while. I like how you put that disclaimer. That was a disclaimer for
yes, sir. Roger that, because you never know. But I'm just saying that potential's there. That upside has reality, right?
No, 100%. It's 100%. So, we'll have to just wait and see. This is, to me, there's the potential for generational wealth. I think you're going to have to get involved, but at what level and what you get involved in, this isn't financial advice. I'm not sure what the simple answer is, because I don't know if there is a simple answer.
The simple answer is to let the market continue to mature, and to dabble in it so that you can gain some sea legs is good. To get involved to the point where you're putting things at risk is a mistake, and I don't care what you put your money in or what you put your wealth or your assets in. If you put too much in a single basket, you're making a mistake. That's my advice at this point.
Oh, yeah. This diversification is the key in this market right now. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. Don't jump in. I've seen some of these people online, and the meme coin world is, when I say that, and I think that's the far left of the world of the altcoins and what I consider blue chip. That meme coin world, that is dangerous. Do not bet the farm on that. Too many rug pulls, which is where they put you up and they pump it up, and then everybody jumps out that's in the know, and they leave the bag holding to the inexperienced.
Well, and that's we're going to have to work on, building confidence and stability in some of these things too. And I look at Bitcoin, and it's like, hey, how much was Bitcoin when it first started? How hard was it to get a Bitcoin?
Oh, it was nothing. It was
easy.
1/100ths of cents at the very beginning.
All right, and how much is a Bitcoin now? $100,000?
Yeah, right now, as of today, I just checked it a little while ago. 88 or 89,000.
And if there's a blip or a something that created panic, how much of it is the confidence game versus real wealth?
I think it's an extremely valid point, because at the end of the day, we've seen what's happened in that marketplace. There's been some big swings, and I think we're going to continue to see big. This volatility is not going away anytime soon.
It's not, but there's some that are hedging their bets and decreasing the volatility. When you start to back it with constitutional currency, gold and silver, even if it's not 100% backed, a significant backing is enough. That'll decrease a lot of those swings, right?
Yeah, let me tell you that there's some interesting products out there that help with volatility. There's a company that's doing it. They're actually one of the sponsors of our show, Block Trust IRA. And they do investments. So number one, you can get exposure in your IRA to cryptocurrency through blocktrustira.com. But here's the interesting part, how they do it. You can also put regular money. You can have a regular portfolio you invest. So they're able to do both. They use it. They're tied up and partner with a company called Animus Technologies. You can look it up. And Animus used to only be available to these big hedge funds and big financial groups. And they have created an AI that is successfully trading what I would consider the Bitcoin, and Ethereum and XRP blue chip. They've got 60 different coins available, but they use technology to play the coins up and down, and they're being highly successful. If you'd invested in Bitcoin originally, 400%. With them, 600 and some odd percent.
It's like a portfolio, a basket of these kind of things, and that creates a lot of stability in the market as well. And then you tie it to some other, and that's where people are getting in trouble because a lot of fiduciary responsibility applies there. Very few people know how to navigate that, and a lot of people jump in too quick. Before you know it, they find out they're over their head, and that's kind of the problem. There's upsides, though. As these markets continue to mature, it's going to get more stable. It's going to get more reliable. It's going to be easier to navigate. That's the good news. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to, I guess we call ourselves Crypto Bros. Is that who we are now? All right, hang tight. Hour 1 in the can. Hour 2 coming up.